So, talking about Chiron today, Chiron, and Chiron, according to human design, astrology, and a little bit of gene keys today. So, welcome to anybody who is hopping on with us. If you're interested in learning more about Chiron and its medicine and what he is here to share with the world and help us to evolve through, right? Because that's what Chiron kind of is. It helps us to evolve through things. Um, if you are joining us and you don't know what Chiron looks like in the human design chart, because both Rebecca and I are human design practitioners. We've been doing it for many years, and we also have studied astrology and gene keys and many other modalities to help people work through their Chiron medicine. And we're excited today because we have been working on what we call Chiron's medicine together. And Chiron in the human design chart and in astrology looks like a key, a K with a circle on it. Yeah, I wonder if you can show that.
It's going.
Going in.
So this guy.
Yes, there you go. That's what Chiron looks like. Yeah.
No, we didn't have it on there. Okay. So tell us a little more. What specifically is Chiron? Like, just what is Chiron?
Yeah, it's a good question. So Chiron, you guys, is that wounded healer that everyone talks about, but it's so much more. He is a centaur. He had wounded himself. He could never really heal, but the essence of Chiron is that he is about holistic healing. He is about how it is that we can walk through our human suit in some senses with this innate wound that we all carry on with us, and all of us carry around really different wounds. And the wounds to an outsider that Chiron shows up for may not look significant, actually, if you were to describe it to other people. But for you, it has significance because a lot of the times we believe that it comes through your past life. If you don't believe in past lives, that's okay. It just means that you probably had the wound very young, at a very, very young age. And it's kind of this low humming of almost like a fear that's just so subtle in the background. You don't necessarily notice it until you get sometimes a little bit older or wiser. But it's definitely more in depth than, let's say, you are really into human design yourself, and you're trying to figure out what that wounded healer aspect is for yourself. You of course can read what gate it comes from, but we also pull in astrology and gene keys to the whole concept and so much more. So anyways, tell me what I've missed, Miss Rebecca, about Chiron. A little bit more about it.
Yeah, like you're saying, I'm just gonna try to summarize it. Um, so Chiron is essentially this little comet kind of thing. I always forget the word of it. It's asteroid. It's
It's
in
actually it's
between.
considered a minor planet,
It's
small.
in between Saturn and Uranus.
Yes.
And it really calls out our inherent wound, the wound that we came in with, the wound that we're here to really work with for this lifetime.
Yeah.
And because it's the wound, it's also the medicine. So it's something that is humming under the surface. Like you said, I always love when you describe it that way because it's just always there. And so you don't know it because you're just kind of tuned into it, like it's just there. But so calling it out helps you to understand how it's been there and how it's been your wound this whole time and how it calls out the medicine. Because it's always like if you were born with, like, I mean, some kind of handicap, let's say you were born with like one hand, then you're just used to living that way.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it thinks of, I think
Mhm.
of too, like it's not like a handicap to you because you're just used to living that way. It's not really like a wound because you're used to it. And so then when you call it out, it's like, oh, I have, like, this is where mine is. So now I can utilize it to be even more powerful and impactful.
Yes, and for anyone who's on here watching, and you can look up your Chiron number in human design, throw it to us. Tell us in the comments. We'll be happy to give you a little piece of possibly what it is that you might be experiencing. And I love how you just described it. It is a wound that is it's so integrated into who you are that sometimes it's hard to recognize it right away. And it's different from shadow work. Here's the thing that I think Rebecca and I are huge about. This isn't shadow work. Shadow work, in my opinion, is the thing that we all start to create. Our ego needs something to attach itself to a story, a person, a place, or a situation that becomes kind of a, I want to say cesspool, that's kind of the bad word, but shadow work is kind of like you keep tripping over a situation with a person, place, or thing, and it's something that happened in this lifetime. And the difference is that with Chiron, it's like you said, it's that undertow that's constantly there. And at times it's fine that we have it, right? It's like, oh, it's there, it's great when we're unconscious of it. But then there's going to be moments in our lives that we're not moving forward on something because we're afraid of whatever that humming of what Chiron is labeling us. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, it's like keeping us. Okay, that's a good way. When if we're not moving forward in something and we're not really understanding why we're not moving forward in something, Chiron is probably getting louder.
Exactly. For those of you that are just joining us, this is Rebecca. I'm Michelle. We're both human design practitioners. We have been doing a deep dive over the last quite a period of time studying Chiron. Chiron is the key looking symbol. It's not always on all human design charts, but if you do have it on your chart, can you show it to people what it might look like so that they can
Yeah,
look at it for their own
it's.
chart?
I can't make this bigger on the screen, but
It's a little hard when we're sharing. It's a
it's a
key.
little key, like a K with a circle at the bottom, looks kind of like a skeleton key.
Perfect. It's like a skeleton key. Anyways, if you're somebody who is interested in us like taking a look at what your Chiron is for you so that we can, have some discussion about it for you, go ahead and pop your Chiron number underneath. If you don't know it in human design and you want to throw it to us through astrology, you can do that. Tell us where your Chiron shows up. Same symbol in astrology as it is in human design. So your description of I love your description, Rebecca, of how it does feel like a handicap, as in it's almost an emotional, it feels very emotional to me once I realize when I'm going through something and I realize, oh, it's my Chiron. Chiron has just showed up again in my life because it's that hum that's always around for all of us. And I think it's interesting when we start to discover like the true essence and meaning of all of it. Because here's the thing that we understood from Centaur, him as a Centaur, is that he was kind of ostracized. He was very different from everybody else around him. So I know there's a lot of people out there that can relate to that, right? Always feeling unique. We're walking into the time of Aquarius where, a lot of us are starting to show up more authentically for ourselves, which might look a little different and odd to other people. But Chiron really is into that. Like that is who he is. And he wants you to feel at peace and at calm with whatever the wound is. And that's why it becomes the medicine. And I love how you always pull that through for us, Rebecca, is that your Chiron, because you're going to hear it as the wounded healer, right? Chiron, the wounded healer. That is the label everybody identifies with Chiron as. But it's so much more because when you walk through the wound over and over again, because it's never fully healed, but when you walk through it over and over and over again, it becomes like an elation. It becomes that moment of like, I did it and I'm so proud of myself because it's such internal work. Is that how you would describe it when you walk
Yes.
through it?
Yes, absolutely. And I've got Joe over here. She said hi. And I've been stuck for years, oops, and assumed I was on track, which is why nothing was changing.
Ah,
Same, Joe. I've been there. Like I'm currently going through a moment of realization of that myself. And she's a 6-2 generator. Um, do you do you know your Chiron, Joe, or do you want me to look it up real quick? We can take a sneak peek and see.
Oh, that's
If
true.
we can get a quick hit of insight for you, because I've
Yes.
definitely been there. And she's a 6-2 generator. Michelle's a generator. Like, she knows that generator plateau sometimes.
Yeah, very well. Yes, yes.
Yeah. Do you mind putting your birth info in the comments, Joe? I can do that.
Yeah, anybody who is watching from my side too, if you want to put it in my comments, we're happy to take a look at your Chiron for you if you don't know. It is not common. Like the things that we're talking about here is not a common thing that people talk about, especially in human design. And that's what I love about this work with Rebecca. Rebecca and I have created a brand new podcast and YouTube channel called Abstract Curiosity. Two long words, we know. Abstract Curiosity. However, the reason we've done that is because we're here to talk more about Chiron and many other topics, but the Chiron medicine, that's how important we see it. I personally have been in the human behavior field for over 30 years, and I'm feeling as if the Chiron energy that you are walking around with has more potency than anything else I've ever seen when I'm working with clients. And I think Rebecca would say the same thing for her with her clients. And so I think there's this new layer of awakening that's happening. And within that awakening, we have to understand ourselves. And that's what I love. Thanks, Joe, for the follow. Appreciate that. What I love about working with this energy of Chiron is it helps even me like on a daily basis where my Chiron hits is in two different spots in my human design chart. I have two different numbers. Rebecca has it in one number, so it's very intensified for her there. And mine is kind of split like everything else in my chart. So it takes me a moment to kind of figure out my Chiron. And I think for Rebecca, it's like this really huge focal point. Is that what you would say for you? Because it's just in one number, Rebecca? It's in your
Yeah, yeah. So it's definitely loud for me, especially now that we've figured out what it is. But let's
Yeah.
look at Joe's because it's super fascinating. And Leah's here, by the way. Thank you
Yay.
for popping in, Lee. So her subconscious is in gate 24.
Gate, hold on, let
In
me write
the
down. I gotta write down subconscious because you know me. Subconscious is gate 24. Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Um, but her conscious is gate 27, and look, gate 27 is also her conscious earth, and it's part of a whole channel.
Oh, snap.
So I feel like this is a big one to chat about.
Sure. Let's
I
talk
looked
about
up the
26.
astrology really quick.
All right. Thank you for looking all this stuff up, Rebecca. Okay, so let me
It's a Taurus gate, and it's in the first house.
thank you. Taurus, first house. All right, Joe. So we're talking about Chiron, and we're going to be looking at Joe's stuff information right now. And it's so she's got the full channel, so she's got the spleen defined too, right? Okay. So the first thing I would say, let's start with just gate 27, shall we? Because that seems to be the most. Let's just do gate 27 for her. Okay. Tell us a little bit about what you're thinking on that, Rebecca, with gate 27. Are you ready?
Well, with gate, excuse me, my voice just.
Yeah.
So gate 27 is that caring gate, right? And it's all about nourishing and protecting, and it's kind of this altruistic energy, which is really beautiful. But it can also be very self-sacrificing. It's
Yes.
like, oh well, I'll just take care of you. Like I don't need anything. Where while you haven't showered in 2 weeks and forgot to eat, and you're living off of saltines.
So,
So that's the big thing I think to really think about. Like this 27, it's coming off the sacral. You have the defined sacral. You're a generator. Like there's a whole bunch about responding with your sacral here and really listening to that sacral response and trusting that. And so when you're in the beauty of this gate, it's very nourishing, and you are able to take care of people. That's what it wants to do. It wants to take care of the people. But you have to take care of yourself first. So I wonder if the big thing is that you forget to take care of yourself and you keep burning yourself out and running yourself into the ground. Like, is that something that you resonate with? I'm curious about at first. And then, Michelle, you tell me what you're thinking. I'm going to look something up.
Yeah, I think sometimes Chiron might show up in this way that you feel as if you possibly, Joe, and tell us in the comments how this is resonating. But it feels like if you don't if you don't feel like you are caring for other people, like what is my value? Can I value myself without this idea of having to care for everybody else first? And because it's in the first house, in your astrology, it is about learning for you to pop through those moments. And because it's hitting it, oh, go ahead.
Joe says that part, Michelle.
That part. Okay. Yeah. And it can be because it's in the first house of your astrology, it can mean that for you, standing up for yourself could make you feel very weak in the knees. It can make you feel like, well, who am I to do that? Like, and because you've got gate 27 already active in your chart, did you say it was her sun sign?
Earth.
Or earth sign?
She says, I have no one, so the only person I take care of is me. Therefore, I feel like I'm invisible. What do you do for work, Joe? Because yeah, that 27 is her Earth, so 28 is the sun.
What sign is she in astrology, since I don't have that pulled up? I got to get a better setup here.
What's the opposite of Taurus? I keep forgetting. Scorpio.
Oh, she's a Scorpio. Oh, sunshine. I still get you. I'm a Scorpio. I also have gate
She
27.
said, I own a salon at the university. My business means everything because of my community. Okay, we've talked about this before, right, Joe? Sorry, I haven't been live in a while, so it's going to take me a while to remember things. Just thank you. So she owns a salon. You own a salon. Do you take care of that salon like it's your baby? Like, I feel like nurturing that. Do you, yeah.
So let me ask you another question, Joe, that you can answer over to her. Do you feel anger because you don't have a person to care for other than yourself? Do you easily erupt in that? Is that the thing that pings for you at times?
Okay, she says, while you were asking that, she said, it's my everything as a business owner and entrepreneur. It does exhaust me though. And then she says, yes. So she says, yes, absolutely, to your question.
Okay. So I would say that part of your journey here is to understand and value. Let me ask you this. Is there a fear to allow someone into your little world of intimacy? Is that scary for you? And don't let me put words in your mouth. Like, give us the descriptions. If that rings or if it doesn't ring, that's okay.
She said no with 3 laughing emojis.
No. What was my question? See, I already forgot it. Okay, so there's no fear of intimacy then, was what she's saying, right?
She says, I'm a Scorpio.
Okay, I know. I'm a Scorpio too. I get it.
Oh my gosh, and she has so much in Scorpio. Hold on, let me see.
Oh, does she have a lot? Oh, she's got a stellium there.
Yeah.
You can see. Okay, so she's a true Scorpio like me. Okay, so there is this idea with gate 27 too, is that when we can make our work more important than our inner relationships, that's an easy place to go. And I would say if your Chiron's in that spot, it's easy to go into work, 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 work. You feel safe, you know your role, you know how it is that you're going to be perceived by the world. Scorpios on a general are a little bit more mysterious, and they don't necessarily let people into their inner world too quickly. You can do that with SEX, right? Like you can let people in, but to really know Joe would be like almost like opening a vault. But once that vault is open, she is going to be all about the peoples, all about caring and nurturing everybody, and then forgetting about the physical self. So here's the other question I have for you with your Chiron, Joe, in this area. how much do you value your physical body? How much are you valuing your movement and your appearance and all of those things? Is that something that's important for you? I have my water here. Is she still with us? We're doing
Yeah.
Chiron, by the way, for the people who have joined on my side. Chiron medicine is what we call it. I'm Michelle. This is Rebecca. If you happen to know what your Chiron numbers are in human design, pop them in here on the chart. If you don't, give us your birth date, time, and placement so we can look it up for you. We're trying to help people work through that humming, that constant little place of a little bit of fear, a little bit of the thing that you're here to work through in this lifetime, which is what Chiron medicine's about. So did she respond back?
Yes, she says in the beauty and fashion industry, it's imperative. Lee, yes, I was just thinking about you too. Like we should go through Lee's after Joe as well.
Okay.
Like we could look at his real quick as well, since we'll have the chart.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, Joe says in the beauty and fashion industry, it's imperative. So the physical appearance, yes.
Okay. All right. So the physical appearance, and that's part of her journey with all of this. And then she's got gate 24, you said?
824 in the subconscious, yes, which is in the ajna.
Okay.
So that's Taurus, and it's in the 6th house on the subconscious.
And that's in the 6th house. Ah, work routine. Okay. Ajna.
And her ajna is undefined
Oh, it's
and a wide
undefined.
open crown. So I feel like there's a lot
Mm.
mentally there, just
Yeah, I would say with 24, it's those ideas, right? Like there can definitely be, I mean, it's the place that you really can get that inner truth, but you can get stuck there too, right? You can get stuck in the thoughts of, is this true? Is this not true for me? So when you combine that with, here's what I want to ask Joe. Joe, when you were little, when you were younger, did you ever have that sense of, I'm trying to find the words. Hold on. I don't know, always searching for the truth, but not feeling maybe that it's valid, that it was the truth. What are you getting for that one?
oh my gosh, thank you, Lee. That's super cute. Lee did a little gift thing. So I wanted to say thank you. It's a little dancing shamrock.
Yay. Yay.
Okay, Joe says yes, everything is a lie.
Ah, we found it. And I say that with, and sometimes we have to laugh at Chiron. Please know that. Like, that's what this is about. Like, not laughing at it and that's bad or indifferent, but it's this idea that sometimes it takes a little bit of digging to figure this out. So, okay, so it's kind of like not feeling safe enough. Listen, you've got a lot of stellium in Scorpio. You're very intuitive. Mhm. Oh, I got bunnies. Lee, thank you. Good morning, Donna. New here. Welcome. We're doing Chiron through human design, astrology, and gene keys. This is Rebecca. If you know your Chiron number, add it in. We're helping people work through it all today. Okay, so yeah, I would say that part of your Chiron is to understand that you do have the potential and you are here to acknowledge that inner knowing that's just in you, and you will never be able to pinpoint how you know with this gate. You won't. And so I think maybe some of your Chiron that we are bubbling up with for you would be don't go frozen on it and don't get anxious on it. There's this fine line for you of like accepting what is. So here's the gift that we're going to give you today. Here's one tool that you can use for this particular Chiron. I lovely. Is that you can start to write down your inner knowings. Don't share it with anybody. It's perfect for you. You're a Scorpio. You can sit down and just write down the simplest things. Like, I know that I'm going to find this at the store today. And, or I know this client's going to come today and she's going to cancel. Or I know that, I don't know, there's going to be a traffic jam right up the road. You just need to write it down and heed this if you really want to work through Chiron. Write it down, put a time and a date on it, and let it go. And in a day or two, pull up your thing and everything that you wrote down, and you're going to start to see this pattern of how you know what you know. And that is how we can get more confidence in the inner knowing of your chart, because you are very psychic. But it's probably the thing that you are probably constantly pushing away for yourself. So this is just a finite, Joe, of like what we do in our sessions that Rebecca and I offer. We do deep dive sessions with reports and all this other stuff for you on all of it. But I hope that helps you to go more into that gate 24 for yourself.
She said that happens all the time. So awesome. Yes, I like Michelle's idea. Like, obviously you're aware of it, this happens. But there's something about writing it down and really looking at the pattern of it that just solidifies it a little bit more. So yeah, she said that helps a ton, which is awesome. Thank you so much for letting us share your journey, Joe. I appreciate it. She said, I love you guys. Thank you very much. We love you. And we have an account called Abstract Curiosity here on TikTok. It's at abstractcuriosity.hd. And so we'll be sharing more and more on that as well. But beautiful. This was a beautiful way to start the day. She said, what a beautiful way to start the day. Thank you for being here with us, Joe, and letting us dig into your chart. Feel free to reach out to either of us. If you start to notice something, we'd love to hear any like aha moments that happen for you, or if there's like some big question that comes up for you, like feel free to reach out. And if you're ready for a deeper dive, then we've got our calendar open as well.
Okay, so I've got Donna on the side. She's kind of asking, can you explain what Chiron number is? Absolutely. So we are talking about it through astrology, through the eyes of astrology, and through the eyes of human design. So either chart, if you have your Chiron, a Chiron looks like a K with a circle at the bottom of it. Here, I'll draw it out actually. This is what Chiron looks like in both. It's very primitive, but that's what it looks like. In both human design and astrology, Donna. So if you can get your chart and you can look at it, and or if you just want to give your birth time and your information here, birth time, birth date, obviously, and location, we can pop it up on a chart for you and figure it out for you. But Chiron's a wounded healer, guys. It's that thing that's humming behind the background that kind of can keep us stuck. Not kind of, it can really cause like turmoil as you continue to go on up in age. I'm gray now, so I've gone through my Chiron return, but it doesn't mean my Chiron's done. But it does mean when I discovered what it was, the things that lit up for me and caused me to grow and develop. So yeah, if you know what that is, let us know. Okay, so we're moving on now, right?
Yes, let's look at Lee's.
Okay.
It's just my website's being a little weird for a second, so
that's okay.
Are you ready, Lee? Are you ready? Because last time when we first did this, Lee was kind enough to let us look at his, but we didn't have his chart up and we didn't know, like, we were just kind of going off the fly, and we've done a lot of studying since then. So, okay, subconscious, gate 59. Actually, unconscious, gate 59.
Oh, tell me where that's at again, because you know me, I don't have my map in front of me.
It is the sacral moving into gate 6 in the solar plexus.
59. Yeah. Okay. See, that's all I need.
Let's see, on the subconscious side, so this is a Virgo gate. On the subconscious side, it's in his 4th house, and on the conscious, it is in his 10th house.
Okay. Ooh, okay. All right, so what's that? Go ahead. What were you going to say?
It's his IC is gate 59 as well, so I don't know.
His IC is gate 59?
Yeah, the subconscious, yeah.
Okay, so sometimes people within this area, gate 59, because it's coming out of sacral, and this actually could go with Joe too a little bit, is this idea of like, how do I know when is enough is enough? How do I, do I have boundaries? Are my boundaries too wide or my boundaries too tight? Can happen
Yes,
in this
and he's
Chiron.
a self-projected projector, so
Oh, that's right. Thank you. Okay. So, Lee, I think, talking about Gate 59 in its elegance is such a connector. It
Mhm.
is such a, people are just seemingly attracted to you. However, knowing like your own boundaries of like, um, in some ways it can show up as, am I showing up not as genuine as I am? Am I showing up as, I don't know, without the boundaries that I need in order to protect myself? Chiron could show up um, in like wanting to be included in everything, and yet it also can feel like I'm also being kind of intrusive and I'm popping into everybody's world that I shouldn't be popping into. So I would see it as kind of this ebb and flow as your Chiron of like you might feel nervous about who is the right person to connect with, how much do I give of myself, and how much do I need to learn to keep within myself, like that balance of well, and you're probably analyzing the crap out of it because it's a Virgo sign, right? Like how much do I reveal, how much don't I reveal? Does that make sense? And what are you getting for it, Rebecca?
Lee says, "Phew."
Oh, okay, we hit it. Did we hit it for you, Lee?
Yeah. Yeah, does that hit so far? Because yes, I agree that Gate 59, it's really wanting to connect. It's about deep bonding. It's like this really intimate connection. And when you're in the like an indicator of this is just like you said, like you're either giving too much to try to make that connection or you're just like forcing it. Like you're he said absolutely. So yes.
So, can I ask you a question, Lee, really quick? With your relationships at home, were boundaries too wide or too tight growing up?
That's a good question. While you were asking that, he said, "Who read me like a book?"
We love you, Lee. Hey, if you're new here, you guys, we have a new channel that we're going to slowly getting over to. It's called Abstract Curiosity. Go and like it for us on TikTok. Find us on Instagram because we're going to continue to do these type of things for everybody, but we're going to have to eventually get over to that site. So if you could do that for us, that would be great. All right, Lee, what's that like for you in your home life?
He said boundaries weren't a thing. I didn't know what a boundary was.
Perfect. Okay. Yep. So Chiron also can show up in that, the essence of that and or so then did it carry over in how it was that you were seen by the world because you weren't sure like who you could trust, who it is that you could bring into your fold for you. Like, and I'm assuming that maybe some of your Chiron, okay, Donna's given hers. Hold on.
Oh,
This
sweet.
is 23 and 35. So Donna, are you saying that it's 23 and 35? Those are your two numbers? Anyways, for Lee, understanding that those boundaries, because this is also showing up in your house of career.
Hmm. Yeah, he said absolutely 100%.
Okay. Um,
And it makes me think because Lee does these amazing tarot card reads. So
yes.
if anybody is looking for that, go follow Lee right now. And I just want to acknowledge Lee because I've watched him get better with his boundaries on this. He used to just give so much of himself in these readings. And so for him to start to create those boundaries has been really good. And I feel like this relates so much with the Chiron being in gate 10, being that connector, and he's a projector, so just
Okay.
so much wisdom there to share and to be honored, but to be able to put the boundary up and to be properly reciprocated for the wisdom and for the energy.
But it might feel cringy, and that's the whole key. That's when you'll know, Lee, that it's a Chiron moment for you, right? That when you feel cringy about putting up a boundary or maybe cringy because somebody stepped over a boundary, please note that that feeling inside of you that no one else can identify with, only you can, that is when you can start to say to yourself, wait a minute, I'm having a moment with Chiron right now, to make it lighter and brighter and to realize to walk through it, right? That's the key through Chiron. That's the medicine, is to walk through it anyways. Oh, good. Yay, Lee. Thank you. Thank you.
He said it's so hard for me to know when to stop giving. Which I mean, Lee, you're just such a beautiful, beautiful human, and like I just appreciate you so much. So I'm glad that you are connecting to this, and I do believe that the more you put up the boundaries and the more you honor yourself, the more you'll be able to actually help people. And then we have somebody else over here, just real quick. Insert Gert. I'm a 5-2 mental projector and find myself often alone and isolated. Hard to know when to wait for the invitation if the world is quite isolating with tech today. Yeah, that's an interesting issue. Insert Gert. I'm also a mental projector. If you know your Chiron placement on your chart, feel free to pop it in. We can give some quick insights. But
Yeah.
Lee says, thank you so much. Very insightful.
You're welcome. And by the way, you guys, we're doing beta testing pricing right now for full-blown readings with Rebecca and I. You can go to, oh, you know what? I don't think I have it on my link tree. Do you?
I put it on my link tree just before we got on. So you can go to my link in my bio. It's the first option for Chiron's medicine. If you're ready for a deep dive to really connect to both of us, spend an hour with us, loving on you and nurturing you and talking about your Chiron, this is the key for you. And like Michelle said, it's the beta pricing.
Yeah. So hop on. I can't believe I didn't put it on there. But if you want to look it up, it's abstractcuriosity.com/New Zenler. Or if you want to just DM me, I can send it to you after the thing. Okay, so Donna, who's on my side. So Donna, just let me ask you this. I know you gave me some numbers. Is that your astrology, the 23 degrees? I'm thinking it might be that you gave me astrology and not human design. And if you want to give me your info, go ahead and do that, Donna. You can just put it in here, and I can give it to Rebecca and we can get your chart going.
And then insert Gert says, okay, no idea what Chiron is, but bought the whole human design software. You have two, just started the journey. Awesome. Okay, so insert, if you have this programming, if you see here, oh, sorry, it keeps doing weird things.
Here we go. 3. Go ahead. I'm listening.
It's reloading.
Oh,
Every time I try to do something, it's weird. So over here on this second thing that says quantum, type in Chiron, and it'll have quantum plus Chiron, and it'll show your Chiron in the gray square. So if you want to look that up, if you have this programming, you can do that. Okay, so we've got a new chart to put in.
Yeah, so it's 3/13/83.
Just had a birthday.
Yes, happy birthday. Mobile, Alabama.
Okay.
Oh, you want the time? Sorry.
Yeah.
11:54 p.m. So what is that? 23:54 p.m. Yep, 23:54 p.m. Mobile, Alabama for Donna. Thanks, Donna. Hey, for those of you waiting here, we are doing Chiron medicine is what we call it. It is a book that we're working on, and we do readings for people to help people work through the Chiron. What's Chiron? It's that wound that you have had with you since you were born. And if you believe in past lives, it was the thing that you came in this lifetime. It's that low humming, that frequency of what it is that you need to work through moment by moment by moment in your life. And if you understand it, it really does give you a beautiful, graceful way to walk through it, to pivot into your life purpose, to go into more alignment, and it feels amazing when you're there. Okay, you have it?
Yes, she's my Chiron twin. Gate 23 on both sides.
Stop. Well, Rebecca can talk all about this. This is
No, I
Rebecca's.
can't. That's the problem. No.
So we'll just talk about it then in the sense of human design, right? That's all we need to do for this.
Yeah, because
So
it's Taurus. I'm just looking at her houses real quick. Oh,
okay,
the seventh house on the subconscious and the sixth on the conscious.
okay, okay. 23 comes out of the throat center,
Mhm.
and 23, and I'm going to let Rebecca talk in just a second. I'm just letting her gather her thoughts here. It's a very individual gate. So it's very transformative, and it really does value safety and security in things, especially when you want to talk about certain things and feel confident in what you know. So go ahead, take it over, Rebecca.
Yes, that's true. The voice of Gate 23 is I know. It's about your knowing, your individual knowing. And so that's what's scary about it because it's you have to own your truth and it's going to be different than what other people are. That's the value of this. The amazing thing is that when you speak your truth, it's very mutative and expansive for everybody else around you because they don't see things the way that you do with that individual energy. And so it's actually really important. It's a beautiful thing, but it can be so scary if you feel like you are sharing your truth and you get rejected or ostracized in some way. And so with this in Gate 23, with Chiron in Gate 23, the specific wound is really not being able to speak your truth, being too scared to speak your truth. And so this really, really hit me specifically. And then it's been so funny, like Michelle said before, sometimes like we've gotten to the point where we just kind of laugh and play with Chiron because I don't believe that he's super serious. Like we get all serious about it because we're humans. We're like, oh my gosh, it's a wound. I got to take care of it. I sense him as a little more playful. And so it's like when it comes up, for example, Michelle knows this is mine. And so we're talking about stuff, we're doing something. And then I had this sweater on and I started covering my mouth. Like every time I talk, I do this. And I've noticed I've done it a few times on the live where I'll just cover my mouth. And she's like, what are you doing over there?
It's true. It's true. And I think it's interesting for Donna's because it's hitting both her work, her service, and her relationship. So I really feel that possibly, and tell us in the notes here, Donna, if any of this is resonating with you. And by the way, if it does resonate, sometimes it hits really hard and you may feel, I have a habit of doing that too, Donna says. So it can be sometimes that you might feel like you aren't seen and heard. What is she? Is she a generator?
A Manigen.
A Manny Jen. Okay. Or she said yes. And so I think sometimes with this in these two houses for you, um, when you do speak and when you do give yourself permission to not act as if what you're saying has no value. And that's the thing I want to ask you. Do you feel sometimes that you try to dumb things down or try to and we're smiling because Rebecca and I know each other pretty well now with all this. So are there times that maybe you are vocalizing because you're wanting to be seen and heard and you're like, this is the way, or is it that you kind of almost dumb it down so you're like, I don't know, I'll just speak this kind of lightly and gently because it makes me feel a little uncomfortable. And remember, Chiron feels uncomfortable. It isn't the thing that like you're like, yes, it is the thing that's like, ooh, I feel a little like, oh, I'm not really sure I should say that. Or you'll pause. Yes, I feel no one takes me serious and I get ran over a lot. Yeah. And Donna, does that feel like, is it in everywhere in your life or are there specific pockets that happens for you? I'd be curious to know that too. And what else can you give her on this? Like, can you help her out a little bit with like how it is that you've experienced it, Rebecca, with 23 and what tools you're utilizing? Because I think that would be helpful.
Yes, it's been really interesting since calling this out. It's helped me to speak my truth a little bit better and to just trust like, oh, whenever I'm scared to do it, like Michelle said, like there's just this kind of discomfort of of not wanting to do it, but that feels so familiar. It's like calling it out helps me to see how familiar it's been and how much I've been hiding from that. And so when that familiarity comes up, then I'm able to say, no, okay, now it's time to speak my truth and to say what I need to say.
And I think sometimes with anything coming out of the throat center in human design, if things aren't invited, sometimes it can feel crunchy. It can feel like it's not being received. And Donna, that might be some of the things that you're having to work through. And without me seeing your whole chart, and we're not doing deep dives here, but like the generalization of that could be, how is it that I can feel seen and heard by asking or allowing people to ask me in to share my insights? Because I would imagine when that happens, how does that feel for you? Is there any crunchiness that comes along with that, or does that feel more fluid for you? Um, and sometimes in this one, it's okay to speak really simply. So my question, afraid of hurting people's feelings, so I don't say things sometimes. Okay. And here's the thing with that. If it's being invited into it, if people are asking you, then you know that that's the time that you need to be speaking through it. Especially in relationships, because this is hitting your seventh house. There could be things in your past that maybe you said when you were really younger that just didn't resonate. That maybe friendships or committed relationships that when you were trying to vocalize something, it kind of got badgered around, and so therefore you might feel a little bit more like, how come nobody hears me? And when I do speak, I'm speaking, and sometimes we can get to that anger point where I'm feeling angry, and so now I really have to vocalize it in a different way. And sometimes coming into the graciousness of, it's okay to speak very simply and pragmatically when you need to. But I'm really curious to know, like, when is the first time, Donna? Do you have anybody else on your, before I ask Donna another question, do you have anybody else on your other side yet?
Not yet. Lee just pointed out it's 11:11 over where y'all are. So,
Yay! Thanks, Lee. So my question, Donna, would be, when you were younger, did you have a place or a situation or a poignant moment that you were like feeling that seen and heard in your life? Like, was there someone significant in your life, or was it in the daily living and what was going on when you were younger that you didn't feel like you were able to express it as what you needed or what you were thinking, or what you valued? Um, Not feeling safe, that could be some of it. Let us know in the comments if any of that resonated.
yeah, I'm curious about her answer because I feel like it resonated with me. I feel like I
Um,
shut myself down from talking like very young.
yeah, because we got to remember that this is like the wound of all wounds. It's the thing that you came in, and I really look at like Chiron is, why we call it the wound is because it's the thing you came in to deal with this lifetime, to become cognizant of it so that you could work your way through it. Because every time, listen, in growth, there always has to be an underlining something that you're lifting off of. I had very traumatic experiences when I was younger.
Mm.
Yes, yes. And so that's truly where the Chiron of like not feeling like you could speak your intuitive truth, like you could, because this is a very intuitive line. You may not have felt safe in like, this is what I value. You may not have felt safe with, how is it that I can feel secure in my life? And so me vocalizing what I need might have got, you might felt like it kind of got smacked away. And so again, this would be part of what you're here to journey through. And every time you feel that angst of, I have something of value to say that's going to help me feel safe. It's going to help me feel very grounded in my values and who I am. And when you have that churning, Donna, I would say that that is really the part of you that needs to walk through it, and you need to speak it anyways. And of course, how we speak things has a lot of potency. If we're yelling and screaming because we're not being heard, of course, that's not going to be of value. But if we're able to stand in our own empowerment and say, this is what I need, and if you can't give this to me, therefore, this is what's going to happen, and you can stand firm on that, that's good. Thank you. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, good. I'm glad, Donna.
Uh,
Again, there's layers to this. That's why we always say you can look up your human design and read about the two Chiron numbers. You can go into your astrology and look at your Chiron and read it. But there is layers upon layers within all this. And that's why we've decided to do Chiron medicine sessions for people, because there is layers. We always do follow-ups with people after their session because we want to make sure that we've hit the tools that you need in order to walk through this, because every time you walk through it, you get stronger, because that's what medicine does, right? It makes us stronger. It makes us feel better. It makes us feel like, oh, I'm back in alignment with who I came here to be. It helps you to pivot and make decisions that will truly change your life every time you walk through it. Got anything to say on that?
Lee says, I feel this too deeply. My voice did not feel safe and secure. And Lee has that whole channel, the 2343 channel. So I know he can relate to everything that you just said. And so that also, I just feel like, Donna, hopefully you feel less alone in this and just a little more empowered. Like you have an important voice to share.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so giving yourself a space to feel the practice. And listen, that's the cool part, is when it's Chiron, because you're going to go to say something and you're going to stop yourself. You're going to do what Rebecca does and cover her throat, or take a sweater and put it over your face, or maybe for you it's different. Maybe it's like you'll just kind of back up and won't say anything at all. But the beauty in this is holding your ground, that you're not foolish and that what you say does matter. That's the medicine for you. You're safe in doing so.
And maybe even starting with a journal practice of just writing down anything. Like for me personally, I journal every day and I just write down whatever is in my mind. I just fill up a whole page. It's a big journal, so I just do one page. So that might be a good thing to just start with, to just start connecting with, because you're safe in your own journal pages.
That's a great tool. That's a great tool. Yeah. So I hope that helps, Donna, some of those tools and all that good stuff. For anybody new, I just told my daughter to start journaling. Don't you love that when we tell our children something and we're like, oh yeah, it's for me too. We're both moms. We get that.
Totally. I do that all the time.
Me too. Oh, it's like a mirror image, right? It's usually what we're telling our kids. It's because it's something that we need. I guess I need to do it too, she says. Absolutely. Give yourself permission to talk what it is that you need to talk out to yourself, first and foremost. And I think that's a great tool, because it gives you that, first, it gives you a place to focus, and it gives you the confidence then. There is so much power into written word,
There
or
really
type.
is.
Yeah.
There really is. And sometimes you'll surprise yourself. That's happened to me before. Like I'll just write and then I'll go back and look at it like months later and I'm like, oh, that's really good. I don't remember doing that.
Right, right. Yay, yay. So for anyone that's joining us that's new, we're talking about Chiron. Chiron's medicine, Chiron, the wounded healer. We're helping people identify and maybe understand a little piece of their Chiron. So if you are listening and you would like us to give you a little bit of insights on yours, go on. Chiron is a little key. It's a K with a circle underneath of it in astrology and in human design. Doesn't matter which chart you're looking at. You can tell us a little bit about it in the comments if you'd like us to look at yours.
Yes. And Bobby Sue just popped in. She says, hi, I'm a self-projected projector. Talking is my thing. Yes. Bobby Sue Lee, who's in the comment section here, is also a self-projected projector. Like, and I'm a mental projector. We get it.
I get it.
Lee said, I had someone tell me I should be a copywriter. My words hold so much influence. I was shook. Ooh, yes, Lee. I believe that. You could do that.
Awesome.
You do have impactful words.
Heck yeah. Donna just wrote back, it feels good to know that there are people that understand the same thing I feel. Thank you both so much. You are so welcome, Donna. Have a really blessed day.
Absolutely.
And if you could do us a favor, go over and find Abstract Curiosity on TikTok and on Insta and like it so that we can get that platform going too, to help other people. That's our goal here, is to help people.
AbstractCuriosity.hd. I'm excited. Okay, insert Gert. It will not be, okay. She said it's the bottom left number and symbol The most bottom. No, the most, dang it. The most bottom is Pluto. It'll look like a P with like an L.
Oh,
It's like an L and a P together. That's probably the bottom most. If you're looking for Chiron, it looks like a key, like a K on top of a circle.
I'll make the symbol again.
Lee says, yes, this is such a comfortable space. Thank you two so much. You're so welcome, Lee. Thank you. Okay, there's the symbol.
It might be backwards. I don't know.
It might be, but it's
but you get the
close
idea.
enough. And then, yeah, if you come over and look up Chiron,
so I'm going to share something really quick until we get somebody else. Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. So for me, part of my Chiron is in my Anjana, and my other Chiron is in my G center, if you know human design. So that means it's in my beliefs and my thoughts and my love and direction. And it's interesting because it's so cool because everybody's Chironic energy that is percolating within you shows up in multiple different ways, right? And when I finally saw mine for what it was, it kind of blew my mind because part of my journey has been to let myself realize that I am very empathic, I'm very psychic, I'm very intuitive. And guess what? The whole world is. There isn't anybody that isn't. But in particular, channeling for me, and it was something I was really scared to always talk about, or even I never would talk about it. I have practiced it on and off my whole life and not talked about it. But when Chiron was making its way into my world, and I was studying it with Rebecca even more, it really let me know that that's why I have this huge fear of it, of like owning that part of myself, that part of myself that I've denied and that I've been taught in my whole life that it's a bad thing. And with Rebecca's help too, because I did get through my tears and still go through my own ickiness of it. Gate 17 is part of it. And Gate 17 coming on the Ajna is opinions of things. Like, what is it that you do have opinions on? And they're usually kind of unique ones, and they're usually really here to help the collective. They're not just here for me as an individual, where a lot of my chart is individual. I'm a very individualistic person. But to know that that was part of it, oh, that's so sweet, Lee. Lee, you were just the kindest soul on the planet. I love your readings. And I come to you often. Anyways, I just wanted to share that there was such an aha moment for me in like owning my spirituality. That's part of my Chironic moments, like being okay, being raised in a family that didn't agree with that and having to break through that, all the stories that everybody has. But listen, to the outside world, that doesn't feel like much. But to the person with your Chiron energy, it feels debilitating at times. Not all the time. But I think especially as you get closer to your Chiron return, which is usually in your 50s. I am in my 50s. So when mine came up, that whole area, because guess what? There's layers to your Chiron. It isn't just one and done. There's layers to it. But that was the biggest layer that I really needed to take a look at in my Chiron return. And it became very evident, and I would get a lot of hits on it, and I would ignore it. And what happens when we ignore things? They get bigger.
They just keep bugging you.
Yeah. So anyways, I wanted to share a little bit about my own journey and learning to, and I'm still working through it. It's not done. It's not done. I still have my cringy moments with it all, but every time I walk through it, I feel elation. And every time I walk through it, actually what happens is the feedback I get from other people is unbelievable. And so I realize that that's why it is my medicine, because it is something I came in to be and hear and do, just a slight part of me. But it's also it's also the scariest thing for me to walk through. Oh, Lee, you're so sweet. God, you're just love you so much. He was like, I can't imagine not sharing your gifts because you've helped me so much just by being you. You're the element of like pure divine love, Lee. You need to know that.
He's truly amazing.
So anyways, I hope that helps somebody else on here.
Yes, I'm sure it will. Thank you for sharing because that, and it's been fun to watch you grow through it just even in the time we've been together. And
Mhm.
that's what's wild too, is like simply shining a light on this and acknowledging it just creates leaps and bounds of healing in an amazing way.
Yeah.
Um, okay, Bobby Sue. Okay. Bobby Sue says, "Oh wait. It's
Don't go
because
away.
my thing said the live is going to end in 1 minute.
Oh, why?
I don't know. I just had to do a puzzle thing. Okay, I think we're good. That was really weird.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, okay, Bobby Soup. Mine says 3.3.6.1.5. Not sure what that means. And honestly, I'm not sure either. That's a lot of numbers.
Is that astrology or is that human design? Bobby? Bobby Lee? Bobby?
Bobby Sue.
Bobby Sue, sorry. Bobby Sue, is that, where did you get that from? Let's
Yes.
consider.
Yeah, tell us where that came from. We might be able to shed human design. Okay, that's just so many numbers. Um, it might be like the color tone and base in it. Like, where are you looking at? Because so
That's what I'm thinking.
is that just one?
Oh, three's a three.
And it's the Chiron. Remember, it's like a K with a circle. Um, so just we're just looking at the gate. So like this one here says 23.6. We're just looking at 23 right
Well,
now.
maybe she said, maybe she meant 3 and 6 then. Is the first,
Is
just
that
give us the
bottom?
first numbers.
She says it's right at the bottom, but and some charts do show Chiron at the bottom now that I think
Yep.
about it.
Yep.
But this one is showing Pluto at the bottom, so you got to look for that symbol. We need to know this. Look at the symbol of it, and the it won't let me like zoom in anymore. Every time I try to zoom in, it just escapes. So if the number that's below the K symbol,
Yeah.
that's what we need.
Yeah, we're looking for the Chiron. It's a K with a circle, and then just give us the number before the period or the dot. We just need the first numbers because she could be giving both sides, I'm thinking. Like 3.3 and 6.5.
She says on the right it's 3.3.6.1.5 and on the left it's 3.6.6.3.4. So are you looking, do you have like a professional program? Because that's the only way it would show you all the things. Like that's just a lot of numbers that we don't usually look at. That's like professional level things. We're just looking at, so it's just gate 3.
Could be just gate 3.
I just want to make sure, Bobby Sue,
Yep.
just gate 3.
Yeah.
Unless if you feel comfortable putting your birth info in the comments, then I can just look up yours and then we can do it. She said, so professional, I don't know what I'm reading.
I love it. That's
um,
hysterical.
but yeah, if you feel like putting your birth info, then I can just pull it up and okay, here we go.
That's so cool.
And we can make sure we're giving you correct info.
Yeah, if you
And
want us to
then
look at it, that's true. Give us your if you're watching on mine, if you want us to look up your Chiron, give us your birth time, your birth date, and your location, please, that you were born in, and we can look up your Chiron and go over it a little bit with you today.
oh, she's from Michigan.
I'm from Michigan. What part, Bobby Sue? How do I flush?
She said,
Menopause.
hey. She was born in Port
Hey.
Huron. Is that how you say it?
Okay, Port Huron. I'm from Kazoo. Well, Schoolcraft, but we could say Kalamazoo. Yes, there really is a Kalamazoo. We actually have that
Kalamazoo
sweatshirt. I
is
don't
such a
live there
fun
now.
name.
What'd you say? Kalamazoo's a
Kalamazoo is
funny
such a
name.
fun name. Yeah, I love
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah.
Ooh,
Oh, mine
okay.
says two.
Look at
Hold on.
this. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta move it over.
I just got my
Self-projected projector, just 2. Um, yes, gate 3 on both sides.
gate 3. Oh, okay. Giddy up. All right.
And oh, 12th house on the subconscious and ninth on the conscious.
Okay, well, being in the 12th house, I will say, Bobby Sue, that whether you know this about yourself or not, but just Chiron in the 12th house, showing up in the 12th house has a lot to do with that. You are a natural healer in some aspect. I hate saying that word. It's a very cringy word to me. But what that means is that you just being you just being around other people in some sense is definitely a healing experience. It's 12th house with Chiron is a very potent and sometimes a difficult one to understand because the 12th house is a Piscean house and it is a house that sometimes we don't see. There's a lot of illusions that we hold within ourselves and outside to the world. So seeing our own truth sometimes feels like we're swimming through water. So let's just keep that in the forefront because that's what I mean. So that when Rebecca and I are doing these readings together with clients, there's so much depth to it. Like we're having a whole discussion with you. And I want you to be thinking about Bobby Sue when you were really little. Like when I was really little, what was the thing that I experienced that was kind of my ouch all the time? Sometimes we have a story within all that. So you want to hit 3 for her, gate 3. We're just kind of putting some layers out there for her.
Yes, and she says she's a massage therapist. So Bobby Sue, you're a massage therapist, and you have feeling cognition. I just got to say, like, if you're touching people all day and you're psychic, like I can't imagine the things you pick up on.
Yeah.
That gate 3, the gate of ordering, it's really about creating order out of chaos. It's coming from that sacral. So I just lost all my words. Hold on.
It's okay. It'll come back, my little mental projector. Okay, so 3, a lot of the times I find with people who have it, who have their Chiron in 3, because you're here to innovate something. And so sometimes I would imagine, and let us know if this is your truth or not, that sometimes having, knowing and trusting when even, and I'm going to just give the example of you being a massage therapist because I can't ask you questions, but for you, like understanding that you might possibly have something new to share with that person, but you may not feel valid enough or feel like, oh, well, who am I to say this? I'm a massage therapist. Or maybe I've shared things with other people and it got kind of bitten back to me and people didn't like it so well. Any of that ring true for you? And again, this is honesty. We need to know what's working and what's not. Why can't I find that on here? And what do you want to add to it, Rebecca?
I'm constantly giving health advice, she says. I mean, I can only imagine all this openness and all the psychic points. With this gate 3, it really is, it's about, she says, drink water, stretch. It's about the divine timing as well. Like we're looking at that the sacral response to life. The 3 operates in a pulse when it's time to move forward and when it's not, when it's time to act and when it's time to rest. So it has that response of knowing when to do what. So really trusting that divine timing. So an indicator of this can be that you're trying to force some kind of timing. It's like the fight or flight or freeze kind of thing, right? Like you either freeze with it because you're overwhelmed and you're just like, I don't know what to do, or you're really trying to push into some kind of timing for something that needs to happen instead of trusting the divine timing in it. So I'm curious if that resonates with you. I feel like as a projector with all this openness, this could be a big one because we really do need that invitation as well. And the projector can tend to get a little thirsty in the sense that like we do try to force the invitations because you recognize and see people so deeply and you're able to really be this amazing guide. And so is there times where you wish that somebody was really seeing you and acknowledging you and you think that if you push some timing, and I keep feeling like something about your business, like forcing something with the timing of the business, do you feel like it'll be safer in that way? I don't know why, that's just what keeps coming to mind. Learning that not everyone is listening. I stopped sharing so much only when I know they will hear. Yeah.
Yeah, that would definitely be a part of it. When you were younger, how did you experience that for yourself, Bobby Sue?
That's a good question.
Yeah, because I think that with how Chiron would speak through this in some senses too, is do you have to trust that divine timing? Because there could be times where you might be feeling like, God, I should always be expressing, because I should always be expressing that. And because it's in the 12th house, sometimes that can feel very disenchanting, like knowing when the pulse is right to share. Um, because timing is everything with this Chiron energy for you in this space.
She said, no one ever listened to me. It was so frustrating.
Ah, there we go. So let me ask you an honest question, Bobby Sue. Do you have a tendency then to kind of overshare sometimes in your life when you're feeling that pressure that I'm not being seen and heard again? And it can be a no. I think a lot of times with gate 3, and again, I can't see your chart. So it's kind of like there's quite, what was her other house? 12th house. And did you say another house?
I believe 6. I'll look it up real quick. She said, I used to, knowing human design, I don't now.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, but there are times that it needs to be brought up, like knowing that sometimes when you're feeling and seeing chaos, and was the daily routine at home a little
Well,
unbalanced?
it's ninth house on the conscious side.
Oh, it's ninth house, not sixth house.
And
Oh,
it is retrograde. So
gosh,
there's all kinds of psychicness in your chart, Bobby Sue. Oh my gosh.
yeah, you're definitely a healer. That's for sure. But I would say that again, that's going to be more about trusting your timing and it will feel crunchy. Remember, everybody, when we're talking about Chiron, it's the thing that sometimes pulsates. Has she gone through her Saturn return?
Yes. Um, she said, "Oh yeah, I lived with my great grandmother, not my parents."
Okay. Which would explain the travel actually.
And actually, yeah, at 47, we're getting close to Chiron return. So moved through Saturn, moved through Uranus.
And you're building up to your Chiron return. Okay,
So this is good
excellent. Good to
timing.
know. These are all the things that we look at when we do readings with people, like is this concept of like there's so many layers and levels to it. So as you're getting ready to walk into this more fully, um, understanding the power that you actually have to make a change, right? To innovate, to take a look. But the minute you, Bobby Sue, that you walk into um, attempting to control your fear, you are cutting off all of your abilities, your natural abilities. And or if you're going into like a fight type of sensation of like trying really hard to control the chaos, because it will feel chaotic. Your Chiron's always going to feel chaotic. It's going to present itself in chaos. And you're going to be like, oh my gosh, do I have to deal with this chaos again? That will probably be one of your thoughts. You may not use the word chaos. You may be using some swear words. I cannot believe that this is coming up again. When you feel that for yourself and you're trying to find order in the chaos, realize that's probably part of your Chiron showing up. Why is it showing up? Because it wants you to realize that when you see chaos, your timing of when to move through it is important for you. That's really going to always be key for you. And if you can understand that if you're going to override the timing, it could probably end up as a shit show. If you choose to wait and understand that your inner knowing is going to know when it is to walk through that chaos, that's you integrating your chironic energy. Does that make sense, Rebecca?
She said, I don't think I have a fear of my abilities. I feel like I just don't know what they are.
Ah, yeah. And I think because what you were saying, Rebecca, is because she is such a feeler. And I think that's important to say because my son's a reflector. And so I think it's always interesting because I think when we have these open areas in our charts in human design, open or undefined, you've been raised with it. You wouldn't know anything different. So sometimes we don't even know what we know
Yeah.
until it's self-identified. So I'm grateful that she knows human design, because I would imagine that there's people out there. I used to teach a course on like learning your spidey senses, what I used to call it. Learn your spidey senses through human design so you can own it more thoroughly because it shows up in your chart.
Mhm.
Anyways,
Yeah, I can imagine that you are one of the healers, psychic types who have multiple. It's not like you're just clairaudient or just clairvoyant in some way, because of all the openness that you have, and then with that feeling cognition, and it's feeling tone on both things. So the feeling, like you just have a feeling, like that feeling. Really don't know how else to explain it. So, for you, this would be a really interesting one if we were to work together to really move through this. She says, knowing timing is in my chart, hopefully. I have a ton of projectors around me. I'm gathering everyone. That's good. A projector needs other projectors in real life. Like, honestly, that's so important. And then Lee asked a question real quick. He just found out his birth time is different by 5 minutes than he thought.
oh,
There are some like deeper things that it could have changed, Lee. But I'll look at it. I'll put it in here in a little bit, and then I'll let you know. But the likelihood that it changed a whole bunch is very slim in 5 minutes.
all
Okay,
right. So
so
just can I just say something really quick to Bobby Sue before she goes? Bobby
yeah.
Sue, part of your Chiron in your ninth house is learning to connect with your higher soul self. And so you may be a person who is going to experience or is experiencing, it's, I don't like to use crisis, but you might be feeling like a spiritual, like self-identity, like who am I? Because you might be the person who's teaching other people, like connect with your body and do all these things. Yet yourself, you're craving that connection yourself. And you just said it by saying, but I don't know what mine are. That's your ninth house in Chiron, my friend. Um, and it's one that I have. Mine's in my ninth house. And I don't know if you were on earlier when I was talking about this idea of self-identifying, like, oh my gosh, I am a channel, and I didn't really identify myself with that. And so for you, part of your Chiron is going to be accepting your gifts. And you may want to work with somebody to figure out what those gifts truly are, because it's going to come up pretty big for you as you are getting ready to go through your Chiron return in the next couple of years. You start to feel it about 2 years prior to and 2 years prior after. So it's about don't lose yourself in the teaching of other people. Make sure that you know how to connect up yourself. So if she's still on, would love to know if that resonates. That I totally forgot about.
Yeah, that's a good addition. And yeah, with the 2 year lead up, like you were saying, it's start like the 2 year lead up starting right now. According to this, the Chiron return for you, Bobby Sue, is in May of 2026. So this next couple of years is just really about fine tuning a lot of this beautiful information.
Yeah.
While you were speaking earlier, she said, I just started meditation in the last 2 years. I can't believe I never did before. So
I get it,
yes,
girl.
yes.
Yeah, I get it. Keep on that journey, keep on that path. And every time you feel like you don't know and it feels uncomfortable, know that that means you do know. Because a lot of time
Yeah.
that's how Chiron will work through. That's the medicine of Chiron. It makes you feel a little uncomfortable, but it's going through it. Another way I like to describe Chiron when you're getting ready to walk through it, because Chiron is a moment to moment healing modality. We never heal it completely, but every time we can identify, oh, this is my chironic moment, I'm having another one. A, it lightens it up, and B, then you know what to walk through it, especially if you know your Chiron in such detail, which is why we do the readings, right? And we're offering them at a very discounted rate right now. We're only doing 10 to get this program up and running for people, because we feel like this is the important stuff. If you were to learn your Chiron stuff when you're in your 20s, let me tell you, then through your Saturn return, your Uranus opposition, and your Chiron return, all three of those big major events that we all have to go through, it will be a different experience for you. I'm getting chills on that. It will be a completely different experience for you. Doesn't matter what your age is, but I'm just saying we look at that when we're looking at somebody's chart. Where is this person? What is their age? What transitions have they already gone through? Because we're going to ask you about them. How was this for you? Have you integrated? How can we assist you in it? But we're still going to say underneath all of those big transitions is Chiron's hum of, girl, boy, this is what you're supposed to be working through every time you go through a transitionary period. It will blossom and look up. So one of the first questions we ask you is, what do you think is the thing that has been consistent in your life that has tripped you up? And it's not a shadow. It is Chiron. Shadows look different. Okay, so you asked me something or said something. Sorry, I went off on my
She
tangent.
said, "Thank you. I needed to hear that. I felt like I missed the boat of psychic abilities." I'm here to say that you have not missed the boat, my friend, at all.
Not even close, honey. Not even close. That's why Chiron comes at 50. Because usually, honey, by our 50s, we are starting to establish ourselves again, especially if we've had a family, or if we've had a career or whatever. Like, you're established and stuff now. So now is your time that you can go inward and you can do these things and become magnificent. We are never too old for anything. You think about Louise Hay. She was in her late 50s when she started that huge company, Hay House. Like, hello, we're never too young. So we're kicking that out of you, Miss
Yeah.
Bobby Sue.
Yeah, that's nonsense. But she does say men, LOL, tripping me up all the time.
Oh, there you go. There you go, honey. There you go. We gotta.
And Lee said yes.
If you want to know something about your Chiron, put it in the comments below. Please let me know. If you happen to know your Chiron in human design and or astrology, let us know. If you don't know it, put your birth time, your exact birth time, your birth date, and your location, and we'll pop it into a chart and tell you a little bit about your Chiron and the medicine that it's here to give you.
Yes, I think we'd have time for like one more.
Yep. Yeah, we've almost been on here for 2 hours. No.
Yeah.
Wow. That went by fast. And why people are coming on and joining us, please know that we have a new TikTok channel called Abstract Curiosity. It's where all this content's going to be on there. We're going to be talking about all things human design, astrology, gene keys, Chiron, channeling, meditations, UFOs, all the things. Yeah, we got a podcast. It's free, Abstract Curiosity. You can find it on Spotify. You can find us on YouTube, Abstract Curiosity. Can I say it enough? Instagram, Abstract Curiosity. Join all the things so that we can get this information out and help people heal up.
And Bobby Sue, I would love to do a deep dive into my chart. How do I do that with you? That's a great question. Thank you.
Yep.
You can go to, well, I have the link on my bio. If you go there, it's the first one. Chiron's Medicine is what it's called. That's the quick way. We also have our website, abstractcuriosity.newsendler.com. We're figuring out how to change the name, but that's what it is right now. Yeah. So we have that there. If you go to our TikTok account, abstractcuriosity.hd, everything is set up there to go to the link in the bio to get the thing as well. If that's too much, just send me a DM and I'll send you the link to the calendar.
Same thing here. Send me the link if you're interested in doing it. We've only got 10 spots still available for this pricing that we're doing it right now with you all. So we're excited. So if you know your Chiron, pop it in. We'd love to help you with it. It is an essential part of human growth and consciousness. That's what I'm all about. That's what Rebecca's all about. We really are here to help people float more into what it is you're here to do. And when you understand and can identify how the Chironic energy is it just weaves itself in so many areas of your life. And when you can actually start to see it, that's what consciousness is, right? Being able to become aware of something that, oh, this is the thing that I came here to work through my entire lifetime. It isn't shadow work. This is not shadow work. This is a way for me to grow and develop. And by the way, I believe that the more of us that understand our Chiron energy, if you believe in reincarnation, you will not come through with this particular wound again. Like, you can solve it through your as you're weaving through the healing and through the medicine.
Yes, yes, this is what we're moving through in this lifetime. Lee, yes, you got that right at abstractcuriosity.hd. So that's written out. I couldn't make a sticker or anything on here to put it on there. So
You're not ready. No,
anybody
we
on my
didn't.
side, it's written out in the comments there. And then Button Bell. Yes, Chiron is the one with the little key. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you have that, if you're looking at that on either your human design or astrology, let us know. We can give some insights on that. We are ready for one more.
One more. Go ahead, Janine. Janine's asking if we need another person, and we do. It's nice to see her.
Sure.
Chiron in the oh, I just got somebody. Chiron in the first house. Okay, we can do this one pretty quick because it's just
Yeah.
the first house. So that person is just saying, oh, there's Janine. Okay, so you want to put in Janine's, and I'll talk about Chiron in the first house for Gray real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so Janine is 1962. I need the location, Janine. 1962 on December 18th at 11:21 a.m. And then I'm waiting for her to respond with her town.
Okay.
Lowell, Lowell, Massachusetts. Okay, I'm going to go talk about the first house really quick. So this person is talking about Chiron in the first house, which would be in his or her astrology. So for you, you might be experiencing times where you are trying to fulfill your own desires, but you may feel like, I'm not sure I should. Am I worthy enough? And you're learning to be yourself, and it can kind of feel uncomfortable for you in the first house because you may feel like, I don't know, I have to be this for somebody else. And so you may be learning how to express and show up for who it is that you came to be. Oh, you're a Taurus. Yep. So valuing who and what it is that you are here to do. Do you know what house it's in? Because you said that it's in the first house. What sign is, is the sign your first house in Taurus? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Sorry. Sometimes doing this way. No, you're not a Taurus, right? So what you're saying is your Chiron shows up in your first house, which is in the sign of Taurus. Is that what you're saying? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Finally got it. So Taurus has a lot to do with your values. It's like understanding safety and security, trying to figure that all out for yourself because it's in the first house. So there may be things in your life that you've kind of grown up with this humming of like, who am I? Who can I trust? What is it that I do I feel safe enough in my own skin to kind of show up and tell people and be and represent what my values and my standards are. You might be working through how to stand on your own 2 feet financially. You might be someone who, okay, she's saying yes. Okay, good. Yes. So those could be all of your chironic energies that you're learning how to work through. And without looking at your human design stuff, just understand that is the part when it feels really cringy to you, to please know to take a deep breath and give yourself permission to show up authentically for yourself. And that will feel scary. It will feel scary. All of this does. It feels a little cringy. And depending upon your age and where you are at in life, there's going to be levels to that. So I hope that helps by just looking at your little pieces of your astrology. Let me know in the comments. Okay, let's go to Janine real quick before we wrap this up.
Okay, Janine. I couldn't remember her name, so I wrote the wrong name. Sorry about that, Janine. But this is the correct information. So it's gate 37 on both.
Oh, gate 37 on both.
Which is the coming out of the solar plexus up to the heart, part of that channel of community.
Oh, man. Solar plexus. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And it's also her conscious Jupiter. So.
Oh, it's her conscious Jupiter. Okay, got to process for just a second. It's always interesting when we find it in human design when Chiron is also appearing, because a lot of times it doesn't appear in anybody's chart. It's something that's unknown. All right, what do you want to start off with it? My computer is so laggy today.
Of course.
There it is, 37. Go ahead.
So yeah, 37. This one is the gate of friendship. It's really about, gosh, I can tell we're coming to the end because my brain keeps
Your brain shutting down.
Yeah, hold on. I'm just gonna get my notes and it'll be fine. So 37, coming off the solar plexus, moving into the heart, it's wanting to take care of its people. This one is very, very much about, like, I always get this image of like mama bear energy. Like, this is my family, this is my group, I will take care of you. That's just how I feel about it. So when an indicator of this is kind of projecting that, where you get like overly sentimental. Hold on, I feel like my words aren't making sense. Give me a second.
Okay. No, it's okay. So I mean, it's just, I'm gonna interject something really quick here, Janine. Here, this is an interesting one because it has a lot to do with femininity and masculinity in this particular area. And it's kind of a yin and a yang, and it struggles between the two identities, right? Because you think about females in general have had to work through to be seen and heard, right? Having to step into more of how men have perceived women. Like, there's a lot of boundaries that goes on with this. So I would say that some of your deepest fear could be that you feel a lack of support here in your Chiron, that that when you are feeling repressed, you can become a little bit, possibly could become over sentimental and feel like you're the victim of something. When you're in your reactive mode of it, I would say that means that sometimes you're going to be projecting out your fears, and it can be that you can feel and seem a little cold. So those are the two different, and tell us, Janine, when you're, that's me, okay. And so understanding like the pure positive balance of some of this, and we're not looking at your astrology, which would add more of this together, but it's actually learning how to, we call the growth part of this one as equality, which is like blending that male and that masculine and that feminine is what Chiron is saying. Like, it's okay for you to want to be with everybody and be a part of that whole center of that world, but knowing that it's safe enough for you to integrate both sides and feel safe within that. What do you say about that, Rebecca?
Yes.
It's
Yes, that's a beautiful, beautiful expression of it, like finding that balance of the masculine and feminine. And when we think about the friendship aspect and the relationship aspect of it, like not giving too much, we think about the traditional like feminine thing of like you got to just, a good mom just forgets about herself and takes care of the family. Like, we're not doing that. We're not self-sacrificing. It's a balance to make sure you're taking care of your family and you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah, and being able to see other people too. I think some of the Chiron in this would be able to see other people for their value as they show up. That might feel crunchy at times if you had a Chiron placement there, but also knowing, because this is in your you said Jupiter, right? Yeah, that this is a place that you can really expand in. And when you expand in this complex area for you, would be when you can really embrace the equality of yourself, but the equality of those that you're choosing to be around you, your tribe, your family, who you're choosing to be around. When you can learn to accept them as the way that you want to be accepted also, and you blend that together, and this is in your Jupiter, let me tell you, it just expands so much for you. Like the love and the frequencies and being seen and seeing and being identified as who you really want to be identified for can become this exceptional gift for you. as you work through this, because again, it'll be the thing that triggers you up all the time. And once you catch it and become the observer of it and saying, ooh, am I projecting something onto somebody else? How can I work on this inwardly myself? When you do that, you give permission to everybody else, and then it just expands everything in your life. That's what I would call your true purpose of alignment. Is it in her conscious or unconscious Jupiter?
Conscious.
Okay, it's her conscious Jupiter. Okay, yeah. Let's see. She's giving us some stuff here. Yes, I've been blending. Yes, I've been taking care of me too and becoming more creative. And I've been giving more space for others to do them. Perfect, Janine. Pulled to babysitting, but I'm sick and grieving, so I took the week off. Excellent. Like, yes, you got to do that for yourself. Especially with this being in your Chiron, and really always coming back to maintaining that balance. And because it's a Piscean, it's in Pisces.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because there's always an illusion with Pisces too. So sometimes you may not be able to see it for yourself. I would say that. So sounding boards might be good for you. Somebody who's safe and outside of the experience, that you can have a sounding board. Miss my grandkids, but needed me time. Absolutely. Like, I'm sure you're an amazing, well, I know you are. You're an amazing grandmother, and giving yourself time to do all that. That's beautiful. Awesome. 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 Hope that helps.
Yes.
Well, this has been awesome. We've been on here for 2 hours. If you're still watching, please go over and like our Abstract Curiosity on TikTok. It's brand new. We're just getting that up and following. If you're interested in an intimate session with both Rebecca and I, we're doing it at a discounted price right now. There's only 10 spots. DM me, because of course I didn't get it up on my thing, and I should have done that. Unless I did and I forgot. Could be. Anyways, they're called Chiron Medicine. That's what these sessions are. You come on with both Rebecca and I, and we take a deep look at everything. We have conversations, we give tools, we support you in this beautiful, magical thing called Chiron Medicine. Anything else you want to say?
I'm excited for this journey. I'm excited to connect with people who join us in the intimate sessions. It's been so fun so far. We've done a few deep dives into people's charts, and to see the transformation that's already happened is just beautiful. So we're really grateful that y'all spent this morning with us. Thank you for letting us chat about your charts and to dig into these things with you. It's been so much fun.
All right. Blessings, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.